Okay, shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaKodesh, Kal Halayim La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaKodesh. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutation to you sincere occupants across the four winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kasam Gan from the DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaKodesh, the feet of your elect, Bakar Yasha Allah, I scattered across the globe. Basically in this lesson, I was going to go into enduring sound doctrine, because of course, a doctrine, that's the belief, that's the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, which the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, were made into an entity, into a being called Yahushua, okay? And the reason why, of course, you brothers know about the scripture, because I have a few scriptures, so I didn't want to make it super long, but I was going to hit those scriptures and hit straight to the point and understand how, we got to keep we got to keep our eyes on the goal and understanding that it's not easy because there's a war going on in your members, your mind, your spirit, and your body. There's a war going on, okay? So with that war, what comes is that all of a sudden, enduring this sound doctrine, some guys will have problems doing that. Why? Because you're being challenged. Your flesh is being challenged over a period of time because your spirit is being purified. So let's go straight to it. This is 2 Timothy chapter 4. I'm going to start at 2. It says, preach the word, be instant, in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all longsuffering and doctrine. Whereas that's something the men of the Lord have been doing. Going back to our apostles and elders and their elders, we talking about going back to the 60s. So that's what we do. We preach the word, we rebuke, right? And you do it after a while, 5, 10, 20, 30 years, you become, strengthened in the word, established, rooted, but you still get checked because you're still in the flesh. So, you have to pass the ultimate test, which is the test of endurance. Continuing to believe in the gospel, in the truth, so as you age in the truth, okay? Standing strong to the same beliefs as the flesh, which is your enemy, becomes bolder and bolder. So you have to become even more bolder and bolder into the things that you believe, into the things that you've been preached, and that you preached for all these years. Okay? Now verse 3, it says, for the time will come, meaning after a while of preaching the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, it says, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. Meaning you got guys that would not endure sound doctrine. But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, right? So basically, everything, the trial of everything pretty much is through time. You don't really know how much you believe into something until you ask to put in time and effort, okay? So it's easy to just say, well, I believe in this span of 6 months or a year. It's through time that everything is revealed how much you truly believe, because you're going to get tested, you're going to be challenged. So you're still going to revert to the same teachings. So let's deal with first, when you deal with the word endure means suffering. You know what I'm saying? Let's look that up right quick. And see if I can pull that. Because the word endure, right? It goes back to what? To hold up, hold oneself, erect, affirm. Erect meaning what? To stand. That's what the word erect means. It says affirm, to sustain, to bear, to endure, right? So it's a suffering, sustaining, right? Because you're sustaining blows, but those blows is coming from the world and the influence that the world has on your flesh, all right? Now, when you go to the next part, it says sound, right? Enduring, meaning suffering, sound. That's where you got that Greek word, hygieno. That's where you get the word hygiene, right? Sound means what? It means to be sound, to be well, to be good, to be healthy. Okay? So that's what it means to be sound, to be well, to be healthy. So it says, the time will come when they will not endure, meaning they will not suffer sound or healthy doctrine. Right? But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teacher having itching ears. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to do something. I wanted to, because sometimes you got to do that. You got to go into the different translation of the newer modern day English, and when you read it, it gives you it translates into a meaning in which you can better understand. If you're not used to the older English, right? Now, example, right here, like the NL. Yeah, you know what? Let me go with the not King James. Let me go with the NLT. It says, "For a time is coming when people talking about Israelites, when Israelites will no longer listen to sound or healthy, wholesome teachings. They will follow their own desires and will look for teachers who will tell them whatever their itching ears want to hear." So that's what it is. Meaning, after a while, it's like, okay, we don't want, and think about it. Why wouldn't you want to continue into wholesome teachings? You know why? Because these wholesome teachings are actually bitter and they're painful. And the thing about pain makes you alive and it keeps you on the right path. But pain also hurts, and it's a challenging feeling. Okay? Pain is not what you want in the long run. That's the reason why after a while, you really must believe in it to stay in it. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody wants to experience pain forever. We meant to experience pleasure, but right now, the pleasures that we have experienced and we've been exposed to as Israelites, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans in this wicked world are the pleasures of wickedness, wicked lust. Okay? So you don't get to go from wicked lust to righteous lust. There's that in between called pain. You need to feel pain because the pain is the remembrance of what? The pain reminds you that what you experienced prior was wicked lust. Then you're gonna be able to get to the other side, which is righteous lust, that goes into the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so experiencing pain, right? Which that's what the wholesome doctrine is. That bitter pill to swallow it, and you got to continue to swallow that bitter pill of doctrine, or throughout the years until Yahushua come back. That's why when you go back, it says, "For the time will come when they shall not suffer sound doctrine." Why? Because that sound doctrine is painful, right? That's the doctrine of Yahushua. His words are painful. They're painful to your flesh, okay? But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers, meaning they're going to search teachings or teachers that will agree with whatever their flesh is asking for, because the flesh is desperately wicked and asking for pleasure. Okay? So now let's get on. This is Psalms 38 and 6. It says, "I am troubled. I am bowed down greatly. I go mourning all the day long." This is David speaking. "For my loins are filled with a loathsome disease." When David's talking about his loins are filled with loathsome disease, think about it spiritually, not a physical disease. What are David's loins? He's talking about his minds, right? His mind. It says, "For my loins are filled with a loathsome disease, and there is no soundness in my flesh." So when he's talking about the soundness in his flesh, he's not talking about the physical sound of ailments, getting sick physically. He's talking about the fact that his flesh is not wholesome. The wicked thoughts that comes into your mind, that's, the wicked heart in the flesh. Because the scripture tells you there's two minds, the mind of the spirit and the mind of the flesh. The wicked thoughts that come with the flesh are thoughts of wicked lust, okay? But the thoughts of the spirit, a righteous spirit, are thoughts of what? Of righteous lust. Which having a righteous lust of these scriptures, that's what you want. But it comes with pain. Because pain is the reminder of what happens when you deal with wicked lust. So you must endure the pain. And the pain comes through words, being called out by your master, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, through these words. All right? Now, another thing, when you look up, I think I took it out, but I looked up the word bitter. I looked up the word bitter on Edom Online, and what popped up was, let me see if I can pull that up. Wait quick and put up another page, Edom Online. Let's look up the word bitter. Okay. Let's look up the word bitter. Okay, there you go, right here. When you look up the word bitter, it says bitter, having a harsh taste, which that's what the word is. The sound doctrine, wholesome doctrine, is actually bitter. right? But it's bitter to your flesh, okay? It's good for your spirit, but it's bitter to your flesh. But so can you endure the bitter doctrine, the bitter gospel that's going to bring forth life on the other side of it? All right. It says, meaning, how strong is your threshold, your spiritual threshold for pain? Because, that's when you're being tested. Having a harsh taste, sharp, cutting, angry, full of animosity. I want to go down to the right here from suffix form pi root in the red. It says bheid, to split. Okay, to bite, to split. The reason why I want to focus on split and bite, because that's exactly what the words of the Lord do. When the scripture says, and then when they heard the word and they were cut to the heart, it was split, man. And that's what, when you go to Hebrews 4:12, the words of Yahweh by Shema Shah, sharper than a two-edged sword. Why? Because as you cutting others, you splitting others, you splitting their spirit from their flesh, because that's exactly what the word does. It's splitting your spirit from your flesh. So as you splitting your Israelite spirit from his flesh, which is a good thing, you also being split from your spirit and your flesh. So both of y'all are hurting, and both of y'all feeling this pain, but this pain is for good. But the question is, in Timothy, how long can you sustain and endure that pain, which is going to lead you to ultimate righteousness, which is godliness, man. Okay, sitting at the right side of that man right there, Hamashiach Yahushua. But it pains, man. It's pain. It's a painful road, and these scriptures bring about pain. Okay, but it's a good pain. That's like when you work out, you go to the gym, you expect pain. If you ain't feeling no pain at the gym, you ain't getting no growth. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Universe, said the workout starts when you start to feel pain in your body. That's when you're working out. All right. Jeremiah 4:18. It says, Thy way and thy doings have procured these things unto thee. This is the Lord speaking to the nation of Israel. This is why we got to go through the pain and hear these bitter words, which are actually sound and wholesome doctrines. Okay. Thy way and thy doings have procured these things unto thee. The Lord speaking to us. This is thy wickedness, because it is bitter, because it reacheth unto thine heart. See that? So if you're talking about why do we need, because of the wickedness, because of the wicked lust, worshiping, going after other gods, worshiping anything but Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, being evil, having an evil eye towards our brothers, so on and so forth, not believing the Lord. So it brings about bitterness. That's why the words that we hear from the Lord are bitter, because these words are going against our flesh. And you got to continue to believe in these words and sustain that belief, sustain the pain, right, of having to hear these words constantly cut through you. You got to sustain that through a period of time until Yahweh shall come back. That's what the scripture said, he that endure to the end. He that endure what? If you endure the sound doctrine, that's the most important thing. Because as long as you endure the sound doctrine faithfully, you're going to endure all the hell that's coming through. That's coming in this world, man. Because the destruction that's coming, the scripture tells you, the destruction that's coming is for the wicked. The judgment of the righteous is through what? Enduring the pain of these words and still sustaining the faith in these words that are painful and bitter, but yet wholesome. Okay? This is Psalms 119 and 80. It says, let my heart be sound in thy statutes, meaning wholesome. Let my mind be wholesome in thy statute, that I be not ashamed. Okay, because if you don't sustain the sound doctrine or suffer the sound doctrine, which is bitter, then what's gonna happen is you're gonna be ashamed when your house shall come back. You're gonna be found naked spiritually, and you're gonna be put to death. You're gonna be rejected. Now, I looked up a website about bitter herbs, and I just want to read something about this. The website was what's it, Mother Earth Living, So I want to just go to a straight part where it says bitter's benefits. Bitter herbs in general can galvanize our digestive system to function at their peak by stimulating the production of digestive juices. So that's why the bitter herbs is made for medicine. The words of Yahushua are bitter herbs. They make you wholesome. But you got to swallow it, and you got to keep swallowing it for 20, however long you need to swallow that bitter pill, that bitter herb, man. And that's how you endure to the end. That's the true meaning of he that endured to the end. It's not really necessarily, and dealing with all hell breaking loose, because that's going to happen. Everybody going to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really is enduring the sound doctrine. You know what I'm saying? That's healing you to the end and not giving up. Not going on the easy way out to trying to please your flesh. Okay? Going through the painful moments, man, to grow. Because as each and every one of us personally, individually, as hopefully let grow, that's how the kingdom is being built. All right? But to grow, you must go through pain. So I just want to bring that out as an example. Let's keep going because I got a few other precepts set up. This is Revelation chapter 10, verse 9, and it says, "And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book that he said unto me, Take it and eat it, and it shall make thy belly bitter." Meaning, take the book, the scriptures, the whole book, Old and New Testament, and eat it. Meaning, study it, and it shall make that belly bitter. Meaning, your mind, the belly is the mind. Bitter, meaning you're going to start to feel early signs of depressions and all that other stuff that's going to come through because the flesh ain't getting what it wants. But you got to sustain the bitterness, because that same bitterness is what's going to make you sound and wholesome. Okay? But it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Why? Because as you speak about the greatness of it. But then again, when you actually live in the painful aspect of it, it is not as sweet. So it's harder to live the word than it is to speak the word. It's easy to speak the word, but it's super hard to live the word. That's why John said that although it was bitter in my mind, but it was sweet in my mouth. Okay, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. All right, so basically, it's easy to speak about the word, but it's hard as hell to live the word. Okay, but only the elect can both speak the word and live the word. Jeremiah 6:25, it says, "Go not forth into the field." Now I'm going to go straight to 26. O daughter of my people, gird thee with sackcloth, and wallow thyself in ashes. Make thee mourning, as for an only son, most bitter lamentation. For the spoiler shall suddenly come upon us. Right, so that's what it is. The bitter lamentation is these words, man. The spoiler is the Edomites, and they're coming down, they're putting walls and building walls. Why? Encircle and camp, surround the nation of Israel. So it's time to put sackcloth, be in humility and eat the bitter herbs, man. So you can be wholesome before the spoiler comes in and marches in and destroys the majority of the nation of Israel. Ezekiel, how do you know this book is a bitter lamentation? This is Ezekiel 2:10. "And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without. And there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe." It's talking about the scriptures. Well, actually, let me start at 9. "And when I looked, behold," Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 9, and when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without. And there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe." It's the bitter herbs, man. This truth, this bitter, painful, but at the same token, it's sound. Okay, it's your ticket out of here, man. Pretty much. This is John. Let me go with Psalms 25:18. It says, "Look." Okay, there you go. "Look upon my affliction." I like this scripture from Malak Dawud, King David. "Look upon my affliction and my pain, and forgive all my sins." See, even David understood it's through affliction and pain that you begin the process, man, of your sins being forgiven. But that's through what? That's through enduring sound doctrine, teachings. Alright? Don't start hearing some other shit. Nah, stay in the same teachings. Endure the painful, bitter pill. 1 John 3:3, it says, "And every man that has this hope," actually, as a matter of fact, let me get this is 1 John 3:2. "Beloved, now are we the sons of the Most High, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be." Why? Because now it's painful as hell, but it's not appearing what we shall be right now. Everything happens in its due time. But we know that when he, Yahushua, shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Right. We know that when Yahushua appear, we're gonna be like him, because Yahushua went through the process of going through the pain. And now, he's going to get his glory, his righteous lust. Okay, so we also, after going through the pain, believing in him, we're also gonna start enjoying righteous lust. Okay. Verse 3, and every man that has this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he, Yahushua, is pure. So it's these thoughts that'll make you pure, man. Romans 10:10 tells you, in the mind you confess, and you believe in the mind, and you confess through the mouth, and that's it, man, and you win. Of course, you gotta do the work and go through the pain, everything that's in between. Matthew 5:8. I'm in with this. It says, Matthew 5:8. It says, "Blessed are the pure in heart," which that's what the endurance sign doctrine would do, is purifying you. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see the power. Okay, so hey, that's basically the lesson for the day. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, you brothers was edified, man. Like the scripture says, endure sound doctrine. Endure that bitter, painful doctrine. The words of Yahushua. The word